This is Sanjog Rai again, and I'm making this video specific for class 10, but other classes too can take the advantage of this video because the topic which I have taken today is based on story writing. As you all know that story writing is one of the important part as far as your CBSE board paper is concerned, and it is one of the most scoring part. And so today in this video, I will just talk on how you can improve your story writing techniques. So first, let us start with story writing concept. What exactly is the story writing? Now, a story writing is a work of fiction or imagination. Now, that is usually written in easily understandable grammatical structure with natural flow of speed. Now, story writing is meant to read at single sitting, and therefore it should be direct and it should be brief as possible. Now, one small thing I would like to discuss here is that when you are writing a story, see, writing is a skill. Uh, Imagination, you all have the imagination, but to bind that, to put the imagination in the writing is something a different story. Now, when you are trying to write a story, first, instead of, you know, we have to think of the reader's perspective. Now, the most important thing when you write a story, when writing a story, you have to be sure that my story should be readable as well as the reader has to enjoy a story. Now, for that, certain tips are there. Uh, number one is the character. Now, when you select the character, now fewer is better. Fewer is better in the sense like one main character is always there. Now, instead, you can also take two, three characters more, but try to limit the character. What uh, what is the advantage of that? It will bind the story, and also mm, it will also help you to reduce the content as well. Now, next one is time frame. Now, time frame includes when you are writing a story, say that the story is of a certain smaller time frame, like the story I just explained recently on the letter to the god. Now in that story you can see the time frame is not much longer in the sense. Now it was not after 1 year or after several years. So keeping the short time frame, for example from hours to a day or a week, now this will be more efficient and it will be more effective. Now, next one is place constitute. Now, place also, whenever you are describing a place, the place also has to be, minimum. Like the same example, a good example is letter to God. There we can see, a place, a simple one valley, as well as one post office. So, within that too, uh, the plot uh, can be easily, it can be manipulated, it can be reorganized, and it will become suitable for the reader to understand. Now, next one, whenever you are describing um, a place, now using a suitable adjectives like a beautiful place. Okay, so it should be the place which you are describing. It has to be some meaningful, and it should sound good. Now, when you are describing the surrounding, it should be clear to the reader that yes, you are describing a particular place. Now, this one plot. Now, plot is one of the most important factor in story writing. Now, what happens that now say you are writing a story. Now, if there has to be something, a turning point, a certain climax where it should interest the readers. Now, that exactly is the plot. Now, it comprises the events and the character's action. So, you have to be very careful while selecting the plot. Now, the last one is theme. As you know, theme is totally depends upon the imagination and the requirement. So, the effective way to put your imagination and the message through story, what you are trying to convey the message, or you might have something uh, more some moral things to share with the readers. Now, that exactly is the theme. So a theme binds the reader, so it is one of the most important thing. Now, also I would like to suggest some of the things which I have noticed from quite a long time. Whenever you all are writing the story, uh, the content the content means the word limit I'm talking about. The less, the basically uh, the board paper used to come around you 250 to 300 words you have to write. Now try to stick with that word limit. Don't exceed that one. And the next thing, make the story realistic. Now this one is a very important thing, because you know something, if you include some supernatural elements and all, that doesn't look good. And one more thing I would like to add, I have told you in the class as well, that don't use the conjunction every time. There was a boy and there was a girl, and now avoid this. So these are some of the tips uh, which will definitely help you to write a good story. Mm, the thing is, you don't have to be a good writer. As I told you all, always, that if you want to improve your writing skill, you have to read a lot. You have to refer, you have to read a lot of books, a lot of articles. So one example I'm showing you on how to write a story and how has that story been written, as well as I will give you some homeworks as well.